My dad is revealing something quite saddening about my mom and why she cheated on him. My 23M parents, 50M and 45F, got a bitter divorce some 10 years ago. It was totally devastating and life-altering for me. I never had an explanation then. Their fights were just overwhelming at that point and I couldn't bother. Individually I love them both, very much so. Lately my dad learned that mom is getting married and moving cities, within the same state though. He was motivated to tell me about the reason why he hated her. Basically, he claims that she cheated on him and admitted to have never loved him. According to him, my mom told him she only married him for his looks so she can have kids with him. I vaguely brought the issue to my mom and was taken off guard that she didn't deny cheating. She said this was preemptive cheating because she would always find out about him contacting exes all the time. Back to my dad. He said that she's lying since these exes were just his friends, and my mom only thought he slept with them in the past. He said she wanted to control him all the time and restrict his contacts with others. He actually teared up and said she ruined his social life and was extremely obsessive. I'm shocked to learn about this, to be honest. I love my mom, but I'm gutted to know that she actually cheated on him. I treated her with respect, but now I'm not sure if she deserves this respect anymore. I'm talking to her again soon. IDK what to say. Edit. Guys, with all due respect, I'm not asking you for judgment on whether telling me was a good idea or not. I have been asking for this information for years. I want to navigate the information carefully, so please stick to giving advice on that. Otherwise just keep scrolling. Your mom is a cheater. What you do with that information is up to you. I would lose a lot of respect for anyone immature enough to try and justify preemptive cheating, and it sounds like she doesn't regret anything. I'm a big believer in that when a parent cheats on their spouse, they cheat on their whole family. The upheaval for the kids is apparently considered collateral damage. It upended your life, and it most definitely is your business. No advice here, but I'm sorry you're going through this. Your relationship with your mom is your relationship with your mom. Her relationship with her ex-husband and the reasons they divorced are between them and more than a decade old now. Dad obviously felt like you were grown up enough to know the truth. You have discovered what most kids have to discover at some point in our lives: our parents are human and, quite often, assholes. How about you wait for your mom to do something to you in the present day rather than punish her for something she did to someone else many years ago? In other words, now you know the story. It's just that a story and someone else's at that. Not sure if mom and dad's stories add up enough to make a decision on this. Dad said mom cheated. This was confirmed by both parties. Dad said mom only married him for his looks. This was not confirmed by mom or other sources. Mom said dad had been contacting exes behind her back. This was confirmed by both parties. Dad said these exes were just friends. This was not confirmed by mom or other sources. Funny how this is only coming out now, when mom is about to remarry. I'd take both sides with a grain of salt and focus on the present. In the end, it sounds like they are better off divorced. You asked for the truth and got it. Your mother didn't deny it at all. Personally, that would creep me out, knowing my mother could be so heartless. The people saying what happened between your parents isn't your concern are idiots. What your parents go through will eventually affect their children. For you it's especially important since your mother's reply might indicate that she didn't change much. Individually I love them both, very much so. You are 23 and no longer in the middle of any acrimony between your parents. People are telling you to cut off your mother for cheating 10 years ago. Not sure I agree. Take some time and think things over. Did the divorce impact your trust in others or faith in relationships? That's stuff to consider in therapy. But if your mother was a good mom to you, that counts for something. While I don't condone cheating, things are rarely as black and white as people say. Both parents are going to have their versions, and both those versions will feel real to them. The more important thing is, what was your experience? My wife allowed 2 of my dogs to get hit by a car, and I'm suspicious it was on purpose. I had 2 dogs named Tabby and Ralphie, and years ago my wife told me that Tabby had been hit by a car while she was collecting the mail and he died on the way to the vet. 2 years later and a week ago she calls me saying that Ralphie got hit by a car while she was getting mail and he died on the way to the vet. Literally the exact same story for both of them, with few details being different. She hated both of the dogs, and I'm suspicious that she might have lured them into traffic. I know I'm making assumptions here, but there's too many details that add to that being a high possibility. Should I confront her about this? Have you seen the vet bills? Talk to the vet? This would be an expensive way to get rid of a dog you didn't like. Maybe she just gave them away? I'd start digging up. If you can't find footage, tell her you have found footage via a neighbor and are going to view it later, to get the registration of the driver. How she reacts will tell you everything. Any neighbors got ring cams that would have seen the events unfold? Did you see their actual dead bodies? It's possible she took them to a shelter just to get rid of them. Not saying it's any better, just saying maybe she didn't kill them, she just found another way to get rid of them. Definitely look into this. Call local shelters and see if dogs matching your dog's descriptions were brought there, especially the more recent one. Either way, getting rid of my pets would be a deal-breaker for me. I mean, you're married to a woman who you can believe would kill the dogs. That's on you, bud. Don't marry people who are capable of that kind of monstrosity. Honestly, if you know your wife could do this, then yeah, it's sketchy. But I also think it's plausible. I grew up on a moderately busy road, but our yard was not fenced in. We had 2 dogs hit by cars years apart just from unlucky timing. And a third dumb dog that ran in the road every chance he got and somehow survived. It really sucks, but it happens. People won't stop making comments to me and my boyfriend. Me, 27F, and my boyfriend, 31 meters, have been in a relationship for the past 2.5 years. Things are going great. I love him to pieces and 100% know I want to spend my life with him. We are in an interracial relationship. I'm white and he's black. We have gotten looks from people like glares when we go out. And people have even made nasty comments to us. He doesn't let it bother him, but I have a harder time. My question is, what advice can anyone give me? Should I say something to these people? Or ignore it? I just don't see why people have to make comments. We are happy and I feel we should be left alone. He's black. He's had 3 decades of this shit. At some point you stop giving a fuck because there's nothing you can do. Racists are idiots that don't deserve your attention. The best revenge is your continued happiness. Next time you have spirited physical contact with him, just think how much the racists would hate knowing about it, how they are probably unhappy. Me and my boyfriend go through the same thing. I'm black and he's white. It's best to just ignore it. There's nothing you can say to validate yourself in their eyes because they're close-minded and outdated and don't want to change. Saying anything will just make you more upset. That's horrible, but unfortunately the safest thing to do is ignore it. Looking sad might help elicit some empathy, but I doubt it. Have you considered moving somewhere else where that is more accepted? Stuff like this happens when you're in an interracial relationship and when you're BIPOC. Your boyfriend is probably used to the discrimination and has learned not to let it shake him too much. If you're going to be in a relationship with him, you'll have to figure out how to navigate these things without making them worse or having it wreck your day. You should try to follow your BF's lead and be empathetic to how he wants to handle these things. He does, after all, have tons more experience with these things than you. Look at him, not at them. They don't matter, he does. They're not the ones you need to focus your time or energy on. Suing my coworker in small claims court. I, 27F, started a new job and became work friends with a younger woman, early 20s. She seemed like she was in a really hard spot with housing and life. One day at work she kept crying at her desk, and after work I came up to her with chocolate to see if she could be cheered up. She broke down and said she was planning on killing herself that night. A lot of it was surrounding her abhorrent and abusive living situation. We talked for a few hours and I offered to help her find an apartment. She was going to be a first-time renter and didn't completely understand the process. It can be scary. Within a week we found an apartment she liked in her budget and I lent her the money for the deposit. After that she kept borrowing more and more money from me while getting set up and established, over $2,000, with the promise she would pay me back with her tax return. Months went by and it turns out her tax return was nowhere near enough to pay me back. No big deal, I didn't mind if she was able to just give me a small amount every paycheck. When I asked her about it she became so angry she called off our friendship, but promised she would still pay me back. It's now been 4 months and I haven't gotten a penny. I have everything set up to take her to small claims court, but it feels wrong. I don't have a lot of money myself and have had to move back in with my parents. Am I doing the right thing by taking her to court? I assume she has the money as she's gone on vacation since I've asked for payments. Yes. She deceived you and exploited your kindness. She has no intention of paying you back. File the papers and get the judgment. You took her out of an abusive situation and she has abused you. Take her ass to court. People like this need to learn. I love how they gaslight you. Like you're the asshole for politely asking for your money. They miss a payment, they start acting like they're doing you a favor if they give you anything. If it was $20, I would say good riddance, you got off cheap. Yes, those are both mafia movie references. Take her to court. Save every text, promise note or any paper trail. It's time for her to pay you back. $2,000 is no small amount of money, and if she has money for vacations then she very clearly never intended to pay you back. Sue her ass. I hate people so much. Do you have a contract, anything in writing that she was planning to pay you back? Legal advice will probably be more helpful here. She took advantage and then projected and blamed you like it was your fault. F her. Take her to court and don't feel bad about it. She didn't feel bad taking advantage of you.